We're going to get into a staggered stance, even more so of a lunge if you can, while adding some trunk rotation. In previous videos I talked about how the belt buckle down, we want to keep that stable. That still applies to this. So now instead of my feet being side by side in the lunge, my base of support's a little more narrow, so it's a little bit more of a challenge. So I'm going to get into, an easier version would just be a staggered stance, right? So if I have a patient who has really poor balance, this may be where I start them. I'll say feet start side by side, step one foot back just a little, right? And instead of your knees being locked out straight, have a small bend. And I'm really going to have them watch in the mirror and see, can they rotate without their whole pelvis shifting. I'll really keep an eye on that front knee to make sure that front knee stays still. And if they're doing well here, I'm going to increase the distance, right? So as I increase the distance, not that I'm dropping into a deep lunge, but I'll start to have, instead of my back heel being on the ground, right, like it is here, I'm going to start as I get back. Now that heel is going to be off the ground, right? The further I go back, the more I'm going to be on my toe. Now another important piece with this is going to be the positioning of my lower back. As that leg goes back, my lower back is going to want to do this, which I don't want to happen. So as you look at me from the side, as I get into this deeper lunge, the first thing I want to think about is, okay, my back's going to want to arch. I want to suck my butt underneath me, right? As I do that, I feel a very strong stretch in the front hip of this back leg. So I'll keep that. I'll keep a little stomach tension, a little tension in my glute to keep my back and my butt tucked underneath me. And then I'll maintain that same position as I rotate. All right, so really making sure that from the belt buckle down, and especially this front knee, that I'm not caving in. So this is a great position to work on that thoracic rotation, a little bit of balance. I'm also engaging some stretch in the front of my hip as I go through this rotation. I would look at someone doing maybe somewhere in the 10 to 20, and then switching legs. And then this is something that then we turn into our Pallof press and rotation stuff where we add resistance.